The founding president of the African Women in Energy and Power, Bertha Dlamini, also participated. And this dialogue, we understand, involved experts who are trying to figure out exactly how to sort out the electricity crisis in the country. Rolling blackouts have now become the norm, with stage 3 power cuts currently underway. Ms. Dlamini joins us now this hour on Today. Good afternoon, ma'am. Welcome to Today, and thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Each time we talk about energy, we hear all kinds of terms and renewables, non-renewables. No, we must focus on clean energy, not just renewable energy, and all kinds of things. What were the key takeouts for you from this dialogue?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, Dan. Thank you for having me. It was an absolute pleasure to share the stage this late morning and afternoon with energy experts that looked at South Africa's current energy crisis. What came out of the discussion first was the analysis of the Eskom challenge, with Mr. Maroga emphasizing that the coal fleet still has longevity and requires a maintenance plan that will enable it to support the country's energy security. And so that was one perspective. We had a professor who spoke about the importance of creating local intellectual property for our energy system, especially for emerging value chains in the energy sector. Now, then how does this relate to our energy crisis? The point that we were emphasizing is that South Africa has got unique socio-economic development challenges. And with these unique socio-economic development challenges, we need to make sure that we leverage our abundant resources in our domestic market. Now, we're talking to the abundant coal deposits that we still have. We're talking to gas that we can still bring in, and we're talking to our internationally acclaimed nuclear plant management capacity. And we know that over the years, we have lost some of the capacity as our resources have gone to foreign markets where they could utilize their skills. We do have the capacity locally. Therefore, as we contemplate a just energy transition, as we contemplate a solution for the current energy crisis, we cannot be compelled or pushed by any external forces to abandon our abundant resources in resolving our energy crisis. Therefore, it is important that we support the coal mining sector as we look at the performance, improving the performance of our coal fleet. Yeah, so that was one area.
Yeah, on that point, we've seen recently, Germany is importing our coal and from elsewhere in the world, and Mozambique has just exported its first batch of natural gas from the off its northern coast, and some, I think it was in England, they've now reopened an old coal mine in order to support their steel industry. Therefore, we cannot, I guess, what you are saying as energy experts, we cannot be forced to stop using coal.
No, we can. In fact, I want to quote this very interesting point made by the International Energy Agency. It says, everyone is keeping their climate targets, but it's true that when you face the dilemma to keep the lights on or to decrease carbon emissions, the choice is to keep the lights on. So globally, there is a very conscious recognition that we do want to do well by the environment. We do want to fulfill the commitments we have made with the Paris Climate Change Agreement and the commitments we have made through COP17 right through to COP27. However, our economy and its prosperity relies on our ability to manage an efficient energy system.
Yes,
and to manage an efficient...
Yeah, sorry, you said to manage an energy efficient system, you can conclude?
Yes, to manage an efficient energy system, we need institutional capacity to determine competitive pricing and to manage the technical assets.
Okay, now you've mentioned, you've referred, when we played this bite earlier, Jacob Maroga was a CEO of Eskom, and you as well as an energy expert and involved in the sector. what would be these things now in managing our existing capacity that has come out of this dialogue that Eskom has to focus on? We keep on hearing about ongoing breakdowns. The country has built 2 new power stations, post-democracy, Kusile and Mudupi, costing billions of rand, and they're still not firing up enough power at full capacity. So what is the sense? Did you get that there's a sense of urgency, for example, in addressing whatever the headaches are currently with the existing fleet?
So what came out of the discussions and what was emphasized is that our leaders, both in public and private sector, need to be bold and coherent in the determination of the strategic approach to resolving our energy crisis. And we need to direct the requisite budget to resolve the ailing fleet, the ailing electricity infrastructure, and we need to do so now. So in contemplating a transition into clean forms of energy, we need to prioritize the optimal performance of our coal fleet. So that is one major challenge, because what we are dealing with and the challenge that we're facing is the lack of base load, sufficient base load to power our economy. And base load in South Africa is achieved through nuclear, coal, and also gas. And so we need to direct our financial resources as a state to resolving the technical deficiencies that the coal fleet is suffering.